So I'm in this anatomy class right now, and it was so beautiful. My teacher, he was talking about the function of muscle, and one of the biggest function of muscle is, of course, to hold nutrients, because if we go through a stressful time period, we can actually break down our muscle and create amino acids. That's why I always say you're the biggest and best supplement. You are the amino acid. You are the supplement, because if we give our body those essential amino acids and fatty acids, which we can obtain a majority of those through animal-based proteins, we can create and synthesize nutrients from those key, right? Like I've shown on the board that I have there, we have non-essential and conditional amino acids. So those can help us during times of stress. And another cool thing that I've been thinking about in the past few days too is the cerebellum. The cerebellum is your key to, I like struggle to say it, weight loss, right? Because weight loss is like a grab hold of people's attention. I don't necessarily like that, because the cerebellum is responsible for so much more than just weight loss, right? Cerebellum can access secondary motor coordinations. It has connections with the prefrontal cortex, which can regulate and allow us to be more logical instead of emotional. Cerebellum has a tight relationship to the hippocampus, which is the memory center of the brain. Why is this important, right? The cerebellum, like I said, responsible for glucose control. Glucose and insulin resistance is all involved with diabetes. If you don't know anything about diabetes, it's all about sugar and insulin and bringing energy into the cell. Why it's important with the hippocampus is because diabetes type 3 is Alzheimer's and dementia, right? We forget who we are. And it's also really heavily involved in just anxiety and depressive disorders, right? Any mental health diseases. So the cerebellum is like a powerhouse, right? And anytime you communicate with your muscular system, especially like I always talk about those calf raises, bringing the blood flow down into the feet, you are communicating with this tiny little area of the brain that's the powerhouse. In Latin, the cerebellum is known as little brain. It contains 50% or more of total neurons in the brain. That's incredible, right? Imagine if you tapped into the cerebellum all the time. And there's no shortcut around it, right? There's no shortcut. Like, we have to move our bodies just like we need to go into the sun, like we need to eat food. Like, I haven't heard of anybody who's done an extended fast for the rest of their life, right? It's like we need key nutrients in our diet, like we need to move, like we need to sleep. And I had to read a paper for one of my classes yesterday. I wrote down some notes because I wanted to share them with you guys. And there was a little thing on sleep. It says, sleep as a biological process is an essential element for health and function, and disordered sleep is considered a growing public health concern. It's a foundational contributing factor to multiple functional abnormalities, including dysregulation of growth hormone, cortisol, and the HPA stress axis. Therefore, sleep influences broader dysfunctions within the neuroendocrine immune supersystem. Abnormal sleep patterns have metabolic, cardiovascular, immune, inflammatory consequences and are correlated with the increased risk of all mortality. Sleep disorders are related to autonomic dysfunction. Sleep disorders, it just said that sleep disorders are related to autonomic dysfunction. In my head, I'm already saying sleep disorders are related to cerebellum function, because cerebellum, the cerebellum bella, she coordinates autonomic function, right? Muscle tone at rest, heart rate, respiratory rate, right? If our heart rate and our respiratory rate never drops when we go to sleep, we never get into that delta wave sleep state. We never get that full rest and digest. We don't have the melatonin secretion. Our growth factors are staying on at night. What this creates is susceptibility to illnesses and dysfunctions, just as it said before. Insulin resistance, weight gain, right? We struggle with weight gain. We struggle with acne. We just wake up and we just feel fatigued all the time because we don't have enough of what we need. Eat. I just said eat on accident. We need to eat the amino and fatty acids. When you put amino acids on your body, like, you can break down anything you want to make, right? That's why they say to put muscle on before you have surgery, because it's your greatest protector against your health is having muscle in the body. tryptophan is so important. I always say it. The amino and fatty acids. When you eat more protein, somebody came up to me at work the other day and said, "So when you put your head on the pillow, do you just lay down and you just go to sleep?" I said, after I picked up my protein intake, I started to sleep so much better, because when you eat animal-based protein, it has tryptophan, which breaks down into serotonin, which breaks down into melatonin, right? Like, there is no easy way out, right? Tryptophan can also break down into a different pathway that's related to disease, right? So I have to put my body into the environment that is going to help my nutrient intake. Like, I am my best supplement, right? When I eat my animal protein, I'm not just gonna go to sleep and not move my body, right? I'm gonna go outside into the sun, because I know when I go into the sun, I break down tryptophan into serotonin, I'm breaking down phenylalanine into tyrosine, into dopamine. I am allowing help for my body. Like, if you view your body like you are a toddler, which we are all children on the inside. That's why people get angry and frustrated and treat other people badly, because we're really just kids on the inside who don't have what we need. And when we give ourselves what we need, we feel safe and loved and more vital, right? If you treat yourself like a little toddler, you say, okay, well, my body has been gaining weight, I've been struggling with inflammation, I'm struggling with negativity in my mind. All right, body, I'm going to take you out into the sunlight, because I know when I take you out into the sunlight, you produce more serotonin and dopamine, right? And before I go out into the sunlight, I need to make sure, where does the serotonin and dopamine come from? Oh, it comes from tryptophan, phenylalanine. I need to eat food. I need to take care and nourish my body. For me personally, I eat a lot of ground beef and eggs. I love ground beef. It also makes me feel super satiated when I don't have dense foods in my diet. I am very sensitive to the environment, so I very much feel it. And sensitivity is your superpower if you feel it. But these brainwave states, your level of consciousness, is based off of your nutrient intake. It's based off of your respiratory rate, your heart rate. And so, a lot of people, you're just not resting at night, or you may think that you have insomnia, and that may be your body and your soul keeping you up at night, saying, hey, I need you to consciously think about, because I'm keeping you awake in your conscious waking state, I need you to think about what you're doing in your daily life that could get me back on track, right? Like they say, God keeps you awake at night when you're in the wrong place or not partaking in the right situations. Keeping you awake at night to think about it. Or you might have nightmares where it's like your body and your subconscious mind is trying to communicate something to you. And this is just like, everybody has different beliefs about this. That's kind of just like my own personal experience. But when I started eating more protein, I was like, wow, this is going to knock me out at night. Like, I need more protein. If I'm not resting at night, if my skin is dry, if I'm struggling with being sore after going to the gym for days at a time, if I feel unhappy and frustrated with other people, like, that's my body helping me and guiding me to do something different, to nourish myself, love myself. How can I love myself at a deeper level? It's a constant, people who have kids know that. It's a constant action that you have to take to, be there for them and take care of them. And like, having kids is like a second full-time job, because it's a full-time job already just to take care of yourself, So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And a word that stood out to me in the article that I had to read for my class was called Salutogenesis. So Genesis is creation. We have Genesis everywhere in the body. Neurogenesis, hippocampal genesis, melanogenesis in the skin. So many forms of genesis, destruction and creation all the time in the body. They said, like, our blood cells, like, they clear themselves out again after 120 days, something like that. You're not the same person you were, like Alan Watts says, 5 minutes ago. You're not the same person, because at the cellular level, if we were to actually see ourselves clearly, we are constantly different people. Like, you can always show up with your chest up, your shoulders back, in a different state all the time. You have this choice. I can go out into the sun instead of staying inside all day and feeling dark and depressed. I can go out into the sun and feel like I've been hit with an EpiPen, right? Or shot of caffeine, right? Same thing, right? I can go exercise, whatever. Salutogenesis is the creation or restoration, promotion or maintenance of well-being, adaptability, and resilience in the face of challenge. Salutogenesis is manifested physically by the enhancement of coordinated adaptation, the cerebellum. Anytime you hear coordination, cerebellum, coordination, if you go stand up on your toes and you feel that sway going back, that's your cerebellum. Isn't that so beautiful? That it's not just something that you see about from so far away. You can experience your cerebellum up close and very intimately every time you lose your balance. Oh, thank you, cerebellum. Thank you for being there for me. Anyway, and the enhancement, salutogenesis is manifested physically by the enhancement of coordinated adaptation of integrated body systems, thereby mitigating the effects of allostatic load. The cerebellum mitigates the effects of stress. As we age, our cerebellum declines rapidly. Our muscle tone declines rapidly. Cerebellum functions with the hippocampus, the memory center. Our memories become not as sharp. Our sense of smell, our sense of sight, right, balance, coordination. Cerebellum has all these little ties in the brain. It's the tap water. I've always considered it. It's the tap water of brain function. And I heard this one time too. I don't know if it's, you can look into it if you want to, but I think it was Robert Sapolsky was talking about the amount of cerebellum activity or glucose expenditure from grand chess players. So people who are thinking logically into the future, because chess, you have to like get your strategies out, out forth. I don't know how to play chess, but it does seem incredibly taxing on the mind. And they expend the same amount or a similar amount of calories to someone who's running a marathon. So your brain consumption, things that you're consuming on your phone, if you're scrolling on your phone, reading a whole bunch of things, taking in information, that takes energy, right? It's not just physical energy, like it takes energy to walk across the room, but it also, my stress response and energy expenditure can come from me being on my phone and reading about the Epstein files, for instance, right? I get stressed, frustrated, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things out of your control. Or you shut that off for a minute and you remember that really the only enemy, we all have one enemy. We're all on the same team. The human race, there's only one race. The enemy wants you to be depleted of nutrients, right? The enemy wants us to not use our mitochondria function. Mitochondria dysfunction is related to every single cancer progression via Otto Warburg. And cancer is about to be the number one reason of death in the United States. Heart disease, insulin, diabetes, all these neurological conditions all go back to mitochondria function and depletion of our nutrients. So the enemy wants you to be angry and frustrated and feel powerless, feel these lower level emotions. And if you just remember that that's all that they want, you can close your eyes, go inside, go into your heart and say, look, I don't want to give the enemy what they want. I want to be free. I want to feel safe in my nervous system. I want to eat my animal-based protein. I want to go out into the sun. I want to create good things in the world. I want to be a light. I want to be a source of light rather than frustration. I want to create heaven on earth instead of hell. When I come across people and I know we share biochemistry, I want to put them into their parasympathetic state. I don't want people to feel stressed and frustrated around me because people pick up on our energy, on our hormones. I want them to feel calm and at rest. And if they feel that nowhere else, let them feel that with me. Let them feel calm in my presence. And that's hard to do sometimes, of course, but it's just a practice. And every single day there's a biochemical cascade that we wake up in the morning and we have this opportunity to set the tone, set the rhythm. And I'm not always doing great at that. Like sometimes I wake up and the first thing I want to do in the morning is just shoot back a pot of coffee, to be honest. It's the first thing I want to do. And so like I've been trying to delay that, get some exercise in. I try to make deals with myself. Okay, Rachel, like we're going to stretch a little bit. We're going to look at some schoolwork you need to get done. We're going to drink some water. We're going to go for a walk. and then you can have your coffee, okay? It's like with a 4-year-old, okay? You put your shoes away, you clean your room, and then we'll have a little treat, right? Like sometimes you just have to talk to yourself really gently and nicely and make deals with yourself. And, I just wish you the best of luck. Keep doing those calf raises, of course, because the calves are the quickest muscle, most motor neurons of the body. So it has a deep and quick communication with the brain. The calf serves as pumps for the lymphatic system, the blood and circulatory system. So if we can get those calves activated, we can shove all the blood flow back up to the heart. Everything can clear out, and the lymph as well. Our immune system is so important. So anyway, I love you so much. I really, really do. I hope that this was helpful for you in some way. And if you want to keep following along with me, you can like, share, and subscribe. But as always, I wish you the best of luck.